Welcome into Fantasy Unclean. I am your host, Rich Fiddler. Joined as always by Scott Robley. We're running a little lighter this week.
A little bit lighter, a little bit higher, a little bit, we have lost, oh, look, 2 minutes in, or a minute in. Not even a minute in,
like 15 seconds
15 seconds into the fucking show, and I've already lost it. We do not have a Frodo with us, as you notice.
If you can see through the haze.
Yeah.
It's okay. Right. We're in a legal state.
We're in a legal state. Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, that's a good point. This might be... It's still federally illegal, right?
Yeah, but it's okay because we're in a legal state.
It's a Hollywood joint. It's not a real joint.
All right, so training camp has started.
That's COVID.
Yeah, hey.
Ooh, COVID.
Cool. Yeah.
Hey, transition. That's a professional transition right there if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, we got news today. Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
And Kyler Murray, both on COVID protocols. So they are both out for 5-ish days. Pete Carroll is fully vaccinated, has light symptoms, and will be participating
and
in...
like 800 years old.
Yeah. Oldest coach in the NFL. Mm-hmm. But he is going to be participating in all meetings virtually and in contact with all the coaches. So not a whole lot is going to change, except people won't see the aggressive gum chewing.
Right, no gum chewing. So I hope maybe they've got a stand-in for that. You know, just to make sure that there's just a guy running around with an iPad chewing gum aggressively, so that way they can FaceTime
with maybe like a mic to his mouth, so they just hear the gum chewing the whole time.
The mastication. That's a fun word to say. And you can say it on PG radio. And
then you have Kyler Murray probably playing zombies right now. Rebirth zombies.
Oh my God. Okay, so Kyler Murray, this fucking contract of his that doesn't exist now, but it did, and it doesn't matter. The damage is done.
Yeah, because it came out for a fucking they probably didn't want it to ever come out, but they put it in there for a reason.
Right. So if you guys don't know, then you're living under a rock. Kyler Murray has. Sorry, I just got to figure out what camera. We're working with different cameras today. We're down here now. All right.
Yep.
Okay, so Kyler Murray got his contract extension. That's fine. No worries. He got his contract extension, $230 million for an NFL starting quarterback. That's a deal and a half, if you ask me.
Especially for one that's fallen apart every second half of the season.
Right.
You know, right around the time Call of Duty comes live.
So Call of Duty comes out around midpoint, and they always have a seemingly decline at the end of that. Specifically, Murray's fantasy points decline in the second half of the season. So Kyler Murray's contract has something new in it. It's got something that allegedly no other player has had in it, in a homework clause. And it's self-study clause.
It's such a small number for a starting quarterback.
Like 4 hours, I think?
4 hours of
video.
Of actual, logged time where he's not doing anything else.
Right. Can't be playing video games, can't be watching a movie.
That tells me that he has film going while he's doing other things.
Yes. And he famously made a comment last year that he... didn't think that it was important to watch that much football.
Yeah.
And not surprisingly, the fucking team put a clause in there saying you have to do your job if we're going to pay you $230 million.
Which, again, as we said when it came out, we fully think that was too much for what Kyler Murray has done so far in his career.
Yep.
Not to say that he can't
you can't reach that potential, but they're paying him for his potential. And that's why, I mean, it's sort of the same thing with Joe Burrow right now. They're already talking about him going under contract, and it's just crazy to me. I mean, he's too young to be doing that.
Well, but the thing is that all of these quarterbacks are signing after year 3.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is going into year 3.
Okay.
Because he injured himself in year 1.
Right.
Last year was year 2, so this is year 3. So if he does anything like he did last year,
then he's going to make a truckload.
And at that point, it's warranted because his first full year in, he takes them to the Super Bowl when everybody...
Hard to argue with that.
When everybody counted them out.
Right. Almost by habit because it's the Bengals.
Right.
But, so
all while getting sacked 17 times in a row in a game.
Some sleuth out there, Twitter sleuth out there, figured out that when Call of Duty releases a new game, their annual new game, that's about the time that Kyler Murray starts to take a drop. So the question has to be asked:
How happy are the Cardinals that that Call of Duty is going on a 2-year lifespan for games?
Dude, they must be jacked about that. Also, that's really good. Like,
it really is.
Call of Duty needs that.
It's too much.
You guys are churning out too much garbage.
Yeah.
We need Warzone 2.
Yep.
And then we need you guys to take a break.
Yeah.
Warzone is
just
doing
work
fine
on
for you.
Warzone.
Also, we were talking about this off air about skins in Warzone, and they're obvious money grabs, right? It's not even like they literally don't even redo anything but the skin of the character, right?
Yeah. And you get different assassinations.
Yep, you get different assassinations sometimes, all that stuff. So
The Terminator ones are pretty dope. I will say.
I haven't. You get to step on a skull.
No, but the Arnold one turns around and fires a minigun into their belly.
Yes. All right, that's it.
And then the T-100
Yeah.
turns around and uses its arm as a knife and goes through their body and then chops their head off.
That's sick, dude. That's sick. I kind of feel bad that they didn't have Sarah Connor.
Yeah, right?
Okay, so if where we're at, Call of Duty. Call of Duty needs to they need to come out with Warzone 2.
But we were talking about skins specifically.
Oh yeah, skins. So the skins, the money grab is there. It's obvious, and yet we keep sending our money out to grab the skin that's pointless.
You only see the hands.
Yeah, right. If you wanna just make $1 billion overnight, put Deadpool, put Wolverine, put, I don't know.
I mean, if they did Marvel characters, it would blow up. I mean, it blew up in Fortnite.
What if they did? I can't remember the name of the Pennywise, the clown. What if they did a Pennywise one? They already did a clown stuff. But what if they actually brought out Pennywise?
Yeah, it probably would.
And he gets to open up his jaw with the billion teeth.
Yeah.
And you have to look at the deadlights, and it's like just fucking. Yeah, that'd be sick, dude.
Or yeah, they like just turn around and there's just a red balloon standing behind them.
Oh yeah. And then they just vanish into the earth.
Yeah.
With a mountain or with a fountain of fucking blood coming. Dude.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, call us, man. We don't even need the money for this. We're just gonna give you this shit.
But
for free.
like we've said from the beginning, if they came out with a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle skin, I would never use another skin ever.
Set it and forget
ever.
it. Yep.
I don't care what else they come out with.
And what I love about that is you could bring in one of the turtles. Not Raphael, because obviously he's going to be the one that everybody wants to go for first. So you have to make him the furthest one away.
Yeah,
Besides
so it has to be like
Splinter,
it would have to start as Donatello.
Yep, start as yeah. Oh my god,
It would have to.
We basically just turned this into a TMNT ranking. So
Yeah.
starting at the bottom, you got Donatello.
Yep.
Then
Leonardo.
Yeah.
Michelangelo's fun.
I disagree. See, I would go with Michelangelo. Then Leo. Wait, which one's the funny one? I thought Leo was the funny one.
No.
That's Michelangelo.
Nunchucks, that's Michelangelo.
Okay, never mind.
And
yeah,
pizza.
You're right. Yeah.
Leonardo's the leader. He's the blue swords. He's all right.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's better than Donatello.
Right. So it goes Donatello, Leonardo, Michelangelo,
Yeah.
and then Raphael, and then you get into Splinter,
Yeah.
or Shredder. Of course,
Yeah.
is like the one that everybody's gonna want.
And Bebop and Rocksteady, dude.
That would be insane.
Like-
Imagine the executions, on
Right?
this. Oh fuck, dude.
Bebop and Rocksteady would be super dope.
We would just rotate that around, and
Yeah.
plus, as like sort of a little bonus Easter egg here, our call tags have always been TMNT, like
Yeah.
for 20 years now.
Yeah, every time we played Halo, we always had some sort of green and then like orange or red,
Yeah,
like
you had red, I had
highlights.
orange. I was always
so it was
Michelangelo.
always.
I just didn't
it
know
was,
his name.
Yeah, it was always TMNT.
That's actually like one of the tattoos that I've been thinking about getting for a fucking long time.
Yep.
It's just a TMNT logo, but not like the Michael Bay one, which I got nothing against those. I'm a big fan of Michael Bay for what he does, right? Like, but like the old school
Yep.
TMNT logo.
It would be
Sick.
pretty dope just to get like the 4 weapons.
Oh, that would be sick.
Just subtle.
That would be sick. Or it could be like the white space within a dark tattoo.
Yeah.
Would be
Yeah.
the but they're like hidden in the background. So
Yeah.
maybe you've got this whole fucking thing, but
Yeah.
and it's all beautiful and you don't know that there's all these different little symbols inside.
Yeah,
Fuck, dude, I
that'd be
just
dope.
designed myself
Yeah.
a tattoo. I want it so bad already. I If I don't get it right now, I'm gonna be so pissed. That's the second tattoo that I've designed in my head that I haven't put on paper yet. That would be amazing.
And you don't actually have a video game tattoo yet.
I don't have a video game tattoo. If I'm gonna get a video game tattoo, it should probably be Halo.
I mean, it's video game / movie.
Slash cartoon. Mostly
so,
action figure for me.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, TMNT, get it done, guys.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, that would be pinnacle of Call of Duty for us. If they came out with that, I would be so happy.
Or the other one that I thought of for a long time is you take the main character from all these sitcoms, but like the boring character or the straight character. So like you take Ron from Parks and Rec.
Dude, that'd be hilarious.
You take I don't know, Ed Helms from The Office. Not even Steve Carell, because you want, but like.
Dude, can you imagine if Dwight was a character?
That would be awesome, right? That would be amazing. In fact, maybe we could do the whole Office cast. Now that I'm thinking about it, we need to do that.
Yeah, you could have the whole Office cast.
But like, imagine running around as Ross from Friends.
Have the big dude dump a whole thing of chili on somebody to kill them.
Yes, yeah. Have Kevin.
Yes.
Kevin do chili day on top of somebody, and then they drown in chili. A delicious
Seriously, dude, we have so many ideas.
Guys, all you have to do is spend $1 billion in copyrights, but they're gonna make all their money back. Give them 50% of the cut.
Yeah.
NBC's gonna be on board like, oh wait, NBC. Wait, no, this is Activision. Nobody owns them. None of the big corporations own them.
I don't think so.
Microsoft is.
Microsoft is.
Okay, so Microsoft is going to be the owners.
Yeah.
Do they own a streaming service? Are they the only ones that don't have a streaming service right now?
They might be.
I don't fucking... Like, I think Lowe's has a streaming service, but fucking Microsoft doesn't.
Yeah.
So South Park, by the way, I've been catching up on South Park a lot lately because they put out a bunch of these different movies, if you will.
Yeah.
During COVID. And they're like the last 4 of them, they've all been hour-long episodes. They're fucking hilarious, dude. I went back. That show is so good. All right, football. Kyler Murray made $230 million, 160 guaranteed. He has to do his homework now. But as long as he gets the crust cut off his sandwiches, he's perfectly fine.
True.
Orange slices. And orange slices. Deebo Samuel got paid. DK Metcalf got paid. They both got paid basically identical, except.
So I saw a thing. So all of the, not all of them, but a lot of the wide receivers that have gotten paid this year are all
year 3 guys.
Well, all year 3 guys, but they all have the same manager.
Oh, is it all Drew?
It's all Tory Dandy.
Tory Dandy.
He has received for the NFL players over $600 million in contracts.
Fuck, and imagine that he's probably got his firm has a 10% fee.
Probably.
So now you've got a 10% fee. You get $60 million this year for your firm.
See, and that's the question. So are they making 10% off of the total contract, or are they making 10% off of the guaranteed contract?
I bet it's stair-stepped, right? So the guaranteed, you get paid a flat rate on. Everything else is
a lesser amount
because you have to do more work to get it. Unless you're Deshaun Watson, then it's all yours, buddy.
Yeah.
You get every single dime. We'll get into that in a minute. But Deebo Samuel got paid $73 million.
Yep.
Bless me, thank you. He got it was 73 is the
max.
Is the max, and 71 is the salary or whatever. However they do that. What I figured out that the extra $2 million is all rushing based incentives. So they went heavy on the wide receiver. We're going to pay you like a wide receiver, but we are going to give you a few dollars here and there.
$2 million is not enough.
Not enough when you just paid him 73
for him to say, "Oh yeah, let's shorten my career by taking all of these hits."
Fuck, dude. And he had a $70 million guarantee, I think. Or maybe it was 50. DK had
it was 58.1 was the guarantee.
Yeah, and I think DK had a $30 million. He had a high.
It was 58. DK's was 58, and Debo's was 58.1.
Okay, so these guys, man, they did very well for themselves. I'm surprised on both of them only because while it makes sense for Seattle to pay that sort of money right now when we're not paying for a quarterback, we have to pay for a quarterback soon, unless we're hoping beyond all hope.
And the way I look at this is quarterbacks are getting paid after year 3. So we get this year and next year on cheap contract for Trey Lance. And then year 3, and I haven't looked at the breakdown of how the actual contract is for Debo. Yeah. I know that a lot of DK's is this year.
Yeah, he got a $30 million bonus this year.
Now, obviously, that signing bonus is now stretched out.
That's prorated
probably over actually 5 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it's an extension. So he gets. You're right. He got They both got 3-year extensions.
Yeah. So it's.
So they're going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
In the NFC West.
Correct.
DK is going to find the next, hopefully, franchise quarterback before he leaves Seattle.
Hopefully.
Might even create him. Speaking of Seattle, Chris Carson retired.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Not super shocking. He did retire like 18 hours after I made a trade for him.
Yep.
The trade involved more than him, and he actually wasn't the target of the trade. But the point is, I drafted him. 18 hours later, he's done for the year, for forever. He's retired, fully retired.
I did see a thing where he has not officially come out and said he's retired because of the fact that if for some reason he's able to get his neck fixed, he's leaving the door open to be able to come back.
Right, and instead of cutting him like the Seahawks can do with very little penalty this year, no penalty because he's medically unable to perform. He's getting all of these benefits because he retired.
he was retired due to a failed physical.
Right.
So not retired because he just retired. Right. Because his neck won't allow him to play.
And that all matters because that means that the Seahawks are still going to be paying for, or whatever insurance company they use, are still going to be paying for his medical bills and all that shit.
That's the one thing Seattle has done really well because Cam Chancellor had his career end way sooner than it should have.
With a neck injury. And now Chris Carson has had his injury, or had his career ended way sooner than he should have. Famously taking care of some of our guys and famously not taking care of Earl Thomas.
Yeah,
who lasted another 2 years.
Kind of deserved it, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue anymore. Okay, so I saw this on Twitter the other day. So you've got the 101 pick. Let's start with Dynasty. You have the 101 pick.
In Dynasty, okay.
And you're doing a long-form draft where you have 4 hours to make your pick every pick. So this is so teams can go... basically you can end up, we'll do a Dynasty episode next week, actually, on August 8th. But with Dynasty...
And we will be back week to week unless something comes up. We should be back We should be back week to week from here on out.
Yeah, we're back to week to week. So Dynasty, you're on the clock. You've got 4 hours. What's the protocol to offering up the 101 as a pick? So I had it this year,
right?
And I can tell you that my strategy was to put it on the block, put the pick on the block for right away.
Okay.
And so like beginning at the end of last season, I had put out there, hey, 101's on the trade block. So I wanted to receive as much interest throughout the year as possible. What I wanted to do is I wanted to capitalize on the hype of some of these guys.
Right.
Now I didn't end up trading the 101, but I started early. Do other people come out when the clock starts on the draft? And what's your thought on that? Because I had the first pick, and I made you guys sweat for like 3 minutes. I was going to pretend like I didn't have it. But I didn't have to pick for 3 hours. I could have put up there right now, for the first time, the 101 is up there. What do you want to do? And then spend 4 hours trying to wheel and deal. Some people are calling that a cardinal sin, that the first 3 people should automatically know who's off.
I lean that side of things. Now, the hope is that you have a league that is active.
Pretty active, yeah.
Prior to having to get text messages like, hey, you're on the clock. So,
Yeah.
if you have a league that is active and you are saying a week ahead of time, hey, the 101 is on the table.
Not even a week ahead of time. I'm talking about
I know,
at the clock.
No. What I'm saying is you hope that you have a league that is active enough leading up to the draft that if you said, hey, I have this spot on the table, what do you want for it? Or what are you going to give me for it? I would hope that you would have that side of it rather than waiting until...
Right.
Because when a draft starts, everybody that is there for the draft is is excited for the draft to happen.
Dude, we're exact. I was counting down to the minute.
You cannot wait for your spot to draft.
Right. I've been waiting for this moment since I got kicked out of the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
This moment right here.
Honestly, you almost are excited for the draft right after the draft. Because the draft is the most entertaining part of fantasy football.
It is for me. I love drafting. Drafting is so much fun, and that's why there are so many millions of mock drafts done every year.
Yes.
And by Frodo alone. So you're saying that in an active league,
yes,
you put it up early.
Yeah, you put it up a little ahead of time, a couple of days beforehand. Okay. So that way, when that time comes, that spot's already decided. And
so that way you haven't just shit on everybody in the lobby waiting to pick. Because the 6th place person is not waiting in the lobby yet because they don't expect to. If they're going by the clock, they don't expect to draft for fucking 24 hours or 80 hours or some shit. But
I was the 6th place person in our league this year. I had the 6 and 7 this year.
Yep. Oh, that's right.
And
you're welcome.
Because I had the 2 and I traded that. For the 7th, so I had the 6th and 7th.
Yeah, because you got the 7th from me.
I got the 2nd from you from last year.
It was 2019. I actually looked at it because I was looking at Chris Carson. Because I have been involved in every trade for Chris Carson since this league started, and I gave you this year's first round for and a second round of that year for Chris Carson, because this was 2021. I gave you this year's first round, last year's second round for Chris Carson, and we made a swap of some kind. There was another running back.
Yeah,
I know. And then I sent him to Action Green.
Right. I got the 2nd this year from the guy that came in to our league.
That's right. Yep.
So I think I had already traded once out of it.
Yeah.
And then Frodo and I swapped
our
first rounds because Frodo really wanted.
What did you get for that again?
I don't remember now. It was good.
Yeah.
It was decent. I don't remember what it was exactly
You sensed weakness in the man.
Yeah, because he really wanted to get running the rookie running back from the Bills.
Oh yeah, he really wanted fuck, dude, I had it right up until that moment.
Cook,
yeah.
James Cook.
Fucking Cook.
Yeah.
Damn it.
He really wanted James Cook. So he moved up to the 2nd spot to get James Cook. And I was okay with it because Traylon Burks fell to me, and then I got the rookie from Atlanta, the running back rookie from Atlanta, following that.
Yep.
And so my first 2
picks were great. You mean the starting running back for Atlanta?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I definitely lean the side that I would like everybody, at least in the first round, to know who they're targeting.
Right. And that makes sense to me. I do like the idea of putting the pressure on the trade because you guys know that I love the trades.
Yes,
I'm all about the trades. You say the drafting is your favorite part. Trading is my favorite part, for sure. Followed closely by drafting. And then everything else beyond. In fact, honestly, if I could...
But it all depends, like... if you had to say right up front, though, like obviously you enjoy a solid trade.
Yeah, I do.
But if you were to like mark down everything that you do in fantasy football, you wouldn't say that drafting is more entertaining. Sitting around with some buddies, drinking beers, especially in a non-dynasty or in a keeper league.
Yeah. Redraft
of some sort.
Yep.
When you're fresh to it, and you're sitting around drinking beers, getting ready to draft, and all that
fucking
stuff.
Giving somebody shit.
Yeah.
For the draft pick they made 3 years ago. Talking about that one asshole who drafted Marshawn Lynch first overall.
Yep.
Sam. Right at you, buddy. I'm calling you out, man. What was that? I don't care if it was from the Taco Bell line or not, man. Sorry, I got on a tangent there.
Yeah. That's why I think drafting is the most entertaining side.
It is, because you have more hours into drafting, more hours of enjoyment into drafting. I think maybe I might actually be spending more time trading or crafting my trades than you are.
You are. You 100% are.
No, this year...
Because you wake up and go, who can I draft today? Or trade today?
Swear to God, every time I see I view these guys as commodities. Basically, I'm an NFL owner. I believe that I own these guys and that I can invest in them and that I can trade them and I can capitalize on their improvement while doing nothing at all. That's what So I fucking lost my train of thought completely, dude. I totally lost it. We're talking about trading.
Talking about trading,
and I was talking about the love of the trade, I guess. I don't fucking know, man.
I don't know where you were going with
I don't know where I was going with it. Whatever. I like trading.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of putting the pressure on the sale. But I'd like the idea of putting the first round trade or the 101 up for trade the day of. Basically, I agree with both.
Day of is fine. When draft starts, no longer on the table is how I feel.
Oh shit! So when you're on the clock, whoever's at the top of your board, like, you have to take them.
Not that you have.
You have. How long do you have? You're in the 101. You're in a 4-hour league. How long do you have?
10 minutes tops. If you haven't, if you have not, dude, I was giving you shit like 15 seconds in. I'm like, oh my God, just pick your player.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so 10 minutes. You get 10 minutes to pick your first player, and that's.
And I would be complaining for 9.5 of those.
Sure, you would. If you have the 101, are you trading in the first 10 minutes? Say you have Breece Hall, you have the 101 this year. You need a running back. You need to youthen your running back. Euthanize? You need to euthanize your running back.
No. If I needed a running back, I would just take whatever I viewed as the best running back at that point.
Okay, you wouldn't fuck around with it. You just go right for Breece Hall.
Yes, but I also don't trade near as much as you.
Right.
So I would just take whatever the best value was that I saw at that point in time.
Okay. For the 101, you wouldn't screw around with 10 minutes.
Correct.
How long does somebody have to send you an offer? Do you ever think to yourself, somebody might send me an offer?
My biggest issue is especially in just rookie drafts.
Yeah.
The biggest value is for like 1.5 rounds.
Yeah, if that.
So if you're not getting a first this year and like a first next year, it's not worth it, in my opinion.
To be trading out of that.
To be trading out of that spot, because now, so if I traded with like the 107, more than likely, yes, Breece Hall is probably going to outdo whoever gets drafted at 107.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Right.
But more than likely that's going to happen.
Right.
So I look at it as if I traded the 107 and the 207, like there's no way that I'm going to get the same type of value out of those two players that I could out of the 101.
See, and for me, it's more about if I'm trading, almost every single deal I put together has draft rounds involved because I believe everybody every single person, myself included, overvalues or undervalues draft picks. So I have them involved in every single pick, in every single trade, so I can theoretically on the long.
And you absolutely can, because like I just said, for me personally, if it's not in the first round, I'm not going to do it. Like, I don't look at a
what about
second
a player?
round.
So how much of an upgrade do you need for a first round player? Because that's what I was looking at was, all right, I don't want anybody else in this draft this year as much as I want Breece Hall. If I want Breece Hall, if I want anybody, it's him. So I've got the 101. I'm going to pick him. But if somebody sends me a wide receiver upgrade that I need, or a
now if I was going to trade the 101, I would want, because generally your first couple are going to be running backs. They're going to get value year one, 100%. So I would want either a solid running back, not necessarily a top tier running back, but I would want a solid running back, or I would want a top tier wide receiver. I would need to see something of value.
A top tier wide receiver, or
because if somebody is coming for the 101, they are looking at that spot as value.
They want, right.
So I want value in return.
So you're on the clock right now. You've got 4 hours to decide. You're not going to wait longer than 10 minutes. How long are you going to wait before? How long does somebody have to send you, Rick Fiddler?
Oh, 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
You think you think you can wait 5 minutes on the clock?
Probably not. But that's what I'm saying is there. Honestly, I probably would want somebody to say something ahead of time, like, "Hey,
oh yeah, me too.
I'm looking, I'm putting something together."
But at the same time, if I'm the guy that wants the 101, I'm waiting until the last minute. So that, if I can make something happen early, great. But if I can't, then I'm waiting until right before the draft starts, and I'm going to say, "Hey, man, I want that 101.
Right.
Tell me what you want."
Yeah.
And or send off a deal, because I want to be able to.
I would need some sort of notification prior to the draft starting in order to wait.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I'm going to pick whoever I'm wanting.
You're staring at the screen with 45 seconds to go before the draft anyway.
Yes.
As soon as the draft starts, you're going to be like, bloop, bloop, bloop,
exactly.
You're not even going to put him in the
30,
queue.
Yeah,
because
no.
You want the pleasure of.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't put players in. I rarely put players in queue, because I'm going to go find the ones that I want, because I know who I want.
Yep.
And then I'm going to select that person.
Yep.
But yeah, I would, for me, if I was the 101, I would need word ahead of time that you are interested in it. Otherwise, you are going to lose out.
You're going to lose out on.
I'm not going to see
boredom.
it. I'm not going to see it.
Okay. So what I wanted to look at was the updated rookie on Dynasty here. So give me a second. I got that pulled up here. So Breece Hall went 101 in ours. I think the top couple were all matched line for line with ours.
No, not at all. Because Frodo came in at the second pick.
Oh, that's right. He went Kenny Walker and James Cook.
James Cook and Kenneth Walker
at second and third, right?
Yep. So he got third in the correct spot.
Yeah. So Drake London. So it goes Breece Hall, Drake London, Kenny Walker, Treylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Chris Olave, Christian Watson, Sky Moore, and James Cook. So Frodo looked at the board and said that James Cook is not coming back to me. I don't care if I'm overdrafting him compared to.
It doesn't matter where he was. He did take James Cook over Kenneth Walker.
Yep.
And he would have 1,000 times, because that is that one player that Frodo planted his flag in. He was all in from the start.
Yep. That Chris Carson trade that I had was part of a deal to move up from the 407 to the 401 or the 402, the current draft pick. I sent I sent my fourth round, my 407, and Matt Stafford, who was my third best quarterback, for Chris Carson and the 401. So that way I could jump up and hit Malik Willis, because I wanted Malik Willis before.
It's kind of crazy to me that even since Tyler Algier has been basically named the starter for Atlanta,
yeah,
he's still sitting at the RB7. he legit could outperform every running back this year.
Not rookie. All of them.
Yeah, it could.
It is within the realm of possibility, the range of outcomes for him to do that well. Is he going to? Of course not. But Breece Hall.
But the fact that Kenneth Walker's sitting at RB2,
Yep.
He's a backup.
Yep.
Like, unless an injury happens, he's not going to get a starting position.
Right. And we talked about this at the end of the season last year. Tyler Algier or Cordero Patterson, at that time, we were talking about if any other running back comes in, they're going to keep Cordero Patterson in a wide receiver position from here.
Which they've already said he's going to.
Yes. And so it didn't matter who was going to take the snap from. The running back that was going to Atlanta was going to be a huge deal this year.
Yeah.
Tyler Algier is a good player.
It's just crazy to me that there's so many guys above. Like, I get Damian Pierce.
Yep.
Because he's going in basically as a starting role. Right. But Isaiah Spiller, he's not in the starting role.
I don't want him more than I want Tyler Algier.
Rashad White is not in a starting role. Mm-mm. So it's crazy to me that there's all of these guys ahead of him that are not in actual starting roles, and he's on a team that he's gonna get used.
Right.
So I don't know.
To have a rookie player with that much usage is hard to find. So, John Mechie, right before since the last podcast.
Yep.
What happened to him again?
He's got cancer.
He's got actual cancer.
Yeah. Now the good news is that it is treatable.
Yes.
And they caught it early enough that it's not like crazy out of control or anything. So, but due to probably treatments that he's going to need to take, he's going to be out this year, which is a huge bummer. He's had a very promising career ahead of him, which, I mean, could get completely sidelined from this. Yep. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it's a year. He sits out this year, gets treatment, gets all cleared up, and is ready to go.
Yep.
But it's hard to say.
He was such a talent coming into the season, but he was one of those guys, one of the, 40 wide receivers that blew out an ACL right at the end of the season.
Yep.
And so he was already falling down draft boards because of that. So in a rookie draft, I think I took him in the third round. He fell to me at 3.7, and he was originally going, I want to say that he was going in top 10 before. And so I picked him up around the 3.7.
Yep.
And at first, Rick thought that was crazy to pick up this guy, but that wasn't going to be playing this year.
Right.
Coming off of an ACL.
Right.
I mean, he got cancer of the ACL, basically. And now, but Frodo then confirmed that he probably wouldn't have made it back around past him. So I guess finally we got Deshaun Watson, right?
Correct.
The justice involved, let me get her name real quick.
Sue Robinson.
Yeah, so what she did is she finally released her statement this morning saying what she recommended.
Correct.
And what her job is to do is to determine based on the facts presented to her.
Now, the facts that were given, there was originally 5 of the 24 cases.
It actually went from 24 down to 12. And then they picked 5 to actually be a part of the case.
5 of those 12 that the NFL viewed as most credible.
Yes.
Were presented to her. She had all the information given.
Yep.
She talked to people. She interviewed people. Every bit of it she looked at, and out of all of that, she ruled that he was in violation of NFL conduct policy.
3 things. He in violation of NFL conduct.
Which there's actually 14 different things, but then there can really be a lot more than that.
Yeah,
but there's
it's
14.
Really
there's 14 main main points, and he violated 3 of them.
Yep.
And somehow only got 6 games.
He got 6 games. So he got suspended for 6 games, and he is last night, I don't know, about 8 o'clock Pacific time or something like that, Watson's team decided to put out a
well, that was the full NFLPA. So that was like full NFLPA. So the Players Association came together and said, you know what, we're just gonna. They had to have gotten some sort of idea.
Yeah, I think that they absolutely had it. So what they said was the NFLPA came out and said that they are not going to argue the ruling in any way, and that they're calling on the NFL.
They're not going to argue the ruling of Sue Robinson.
Right.
They were very specific in saying that they were not going to appeal whatever she came out with and said.
And then they said, and we're calling on the NFL to do the same thing, basically committing to whatever she does before it comes out. The NFL wanted 12-plus weeks of suspension. His camp wanted 6 to 8 weeks as maximum.
Yeah.
And then the judge comes down and hands out 6 weeks, which is pretty gross, no fine.
Yep.
So now the question is, does the NFL want a successful Browns franchise, or do they want the female audience and the female advocates on their side more?
This is really going to come down to is Roger Goodell and the NFL, are they wanting to uphold this new system that they have in place, where they have an outside judicial person, third-party person that oversees these cases, and makes a ruling based on the information provided? Do they want to support that in moving forward? Because it sounds like this is going to be a regular thing from here on out.
Right. This is the new disciplinary action.
That there will be process. So I'm assuming that Kamara at some point will go through this same sort of thing.
Yeah, I would think so. And if he Calvin Ridley's it and just says, "Oh, I accept my punishment as is."
I don't honestly think that there was anything. I think that NFL literally just handed that out. There was no appeal available to that, is from what I understood.
No, there was, because Calvin Ridley's team came out and said, we're just going to accept this and move on for the year, which was a big deal because it felt like So there is an appeals process that Calvin Ridley was subject to. He bet $1,500 or something like that, and then got suspended for a year. And yeah, so I don't know. It doesn't matter. This new system, if they want to support this system, then they have to accept her role. But the problem with the system is that the fail-safe is that Roger Goodell gets to make the call anyway.
Yeah.
If the NFL or Deshaun Watson's team wants to appeal the decision, it goes to the NFL.
Yeah.
To make the decision. So, I mean, it's a heavily let's set aside this case for the moment. This is a fucking stupid system.
Oh, it
what
absolutely
a fraud.
is. Yeah,
I mean, this is a kangaroo court here.
Either side, NFLPA or the NFL has 3 days from the time, so there's another 2.5 days at this point, that either side can come out and appeal. Obviously, the NFLPA has said that they're not going to appeal.
Right.
So basically, it's just up to the NFL at this point as to whether or not they are going to appeal. And basically, that's just Roger Goodell saying, no, I see your 6 weeks that you said, and I'm going to raise it whatever.
Yep. If he raises it 2 weeks, they're going to accept it and move on. But what they should do is hand it out for the year. Call it a full year suspension. My argument on this, and there are a lot of different arguments on this, but my argument on this is that Calvin Ridley was hit with a nuke for making a small bet when he wasn't around the team. They confirmed all of this stuff.
And that fast.
And immediately, no question whatsoever.
As soon as news came out that there was a bet placed by Calvin Ridley, he had a 1-year suspension.
Yep. And Deshaun Watson, according to retired Judge Sue Robinson, is guilty of, or what their phrase is, because it's not an actual law, more probable than not that he, in these 4 cases,
Correct.
assaulted them in some way.
Non-violent, because that, for whatever reason, apparently that makes
matters.
a difference.
Yep.
I mean, I do understand that does make a difference in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at this case as this is a sports player,
Yeah.
and somebody that people are supposed to look up to, non-violent or not, he's got 24 cases, and there's actually really like 30 cases that are somewhat in a process of whether or not they got filed or not. So 30 women technically have come forward and said, yeah, hey, this guy did something that I was not comfortable with. 30 cases.
So let me ask you this. Rape, that's a violent act, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we know that there's a line somewhere.
Yes.
Let's go with date rape. Date rape, there is no violence committed, physical violence committed, except...
And I still would think that would still classify...
violent crime.
I still would classify that as a violent crime.
Okay, so we move the line back to that now. So now what you have is
the way I look at it, if there's any form of sexual, like, conduct, as far as, like, somebody forcing themselves any way,
grabbing them by the pussy,
yes,
if you will.
Yes, that would be in my opinion, that would be violent.
That's a violent act. I'm with you on that 100%. So that's a violent act. So now, instead of drugging the person, now you trick that person, right? Let's say okay, so having consensual sex with a person with a mental disability can be rape.
Yes, it can.
So, is that a violent rape? Right?
See, that's where it
Now
starts.
we're starting to...
Yeah,
now
it gets into that gray area
crime.
of whether or not it's violent or not.
Okay, so now, so now we know that there is a non-violent, because... So here's my follow-up question, my final one. What if there is implied consent from a lack of action?
And
somebody doesn't say no.
Right. And that could be all of what this is, because you have somebody of fame stature.
Yep.
You have
powerful individual,
an NFL quarterback, a well-known NFL quarterback.
Yeah, let's set aside the physical prowess of the man versus
Correct.
the woman.
We're just talking about we are just talking about the fame of this person.
Yep.
That can cause issues in the first place, because the fame can make you go, well, maybe this isn't bad.
Right. Maybe this is how people
I'm
get started
uncomfortable,
in this
but
industry.
maybe this isn't bad.
Right. This is every single Hollywood starlet on the casting couch.
Right.
And instead, it's a micro version of that, because they don't make millions of dollars to make movies. They make $200 an hour to give massages.
Correct.
And that's sort of where we fall on this. So the reason that whether or not it's violent or not matters is because it triggers automatic responses within the league parameters. And violent crimes have been punished for 6 or more weeks for a long time now. Non-violent crimes, the longest sentence imposed so far up to date was 3 weeks for a non-violent crime. Let's set aside the fact that gambling is not a violent fucking crime.
Right.
And he got suspended for a year, whatever. So what we figured out here, we were talking about this off air, what we figured out is that the NFL has definitively, if they don't come out on this and say we want an indefinite suspension like they've been talking about.
Correct.
If they don't come out here and say that we're going to force this, then what they're effectively saying is they're admitting out loud that women's safety is less important,
far less important
than gambling on the sport. The integrity of the sport relies more on whether or not the athletes gamble than on whether or not they sexually assault a human being.
Yeah,
or 24 of them.
When you start to question the legitimacy of the game in a gambling standpoint,
Yep.
that hurts the NFL pocketbook way more.
And it hurts the NFL game way more, which is the problem, right? I mean, the NFL game is the integrity of the game, if you will, hinges on whether or not these players can place bets on teams or not. The game does not hinge on whether or not somebody can sexually assault, can physically assault, can defraud,
But the most fucked up thing is it wasn't even an active player at the time. He had stepped away from the game of football. He was not being paid by the NFL. He was not being paid by the Atlanta Falcons at the time.
He did not have contact, confirmed by the NFL, did not have contact with the Atlanta Falcons during this period.
In all actuality with this, he was no different than you or I placing a bet on an NFL game.
Yep. Except an expert. Like, you and I are kind of idiots. But he's an actual God-given expert on the field.
But it's not like he put money on the Falcons to lose when they were actually slated to lose.
Yep.
He put money on them to win.
Right.
So that's the
whole
worst part about it is it's not like even an active player getting it. Now, if it was an active player betting on their own game, that would make more sense to get a 1-year suspension.
Right.
It would make
apparently
way more sense.
Pete Rose says that he never gambled on a game that he was in, and that's never been proven otherwise. However, he's not in the Hall of Fame. One of the greatest baseball players of all time is not in the Hall of Fame because he bet on some games, a lot of them, but games.
Yeah. So that's I don't remember who it was, but I saw somebody talking about it today. And
Bill Cosby?
No, it was an NFL
R. Kelly?
Analyst talking about the ruling that was put out and how the ruling in itself doesn't make sense. If you found at any point that he was guilty of something to some degree, guilty, why is it only 6 games?
Why is it only 6 games? And it wasn't that he was found guilty of one person and just making it look bad on the NFL. She found him essentially guilty of sexual assault, 4 counts, and violating the conduct policy 4 times.
If he violated the conduct policy in these 4 that she was 5, but 1 was thrown out, so 4 that she was given.
Yep.
How in anybody's mind does that equate to, oh hey, there's actually 24 cases. Yes, you didn't see the rest of them, but in this handful of them, you say that he's guilty here, but there's actually 24 cases.
Right.
And you say, okay, let's just do 6 games. It doesn't even make sense.
They didn't interview all 24. They didn't they interviewed 12 of them. And then they selected 5 of them. And then the NFL... So the NFL has a higher chance. I mean, they picked their 4 or 5 best cases that they had, right?
Right.
But... So I'm not saying that 100% of the other ones...
But I'm also assuming that these are 4... These are 12 of the 20 that were settled. Mm-hmm. Because there's...
Actually, all 23 of the 24 lawsuits have been settled now. As of this morning.
Okay, I did not catch that.
So there's still one. The original accuser.
The original one is still out there.
Nope, she settled today.
Okay.
So or they settled. It was either last night or today, basically right before the announcement came out.
Okay, but still, I guess my point still stands. Is of those 12, it was probably of the original 20 because this was she's had this stuff for a while.
Yep. And we're not talking about the other half of the women that he went and saw. It
was 66 different women in 17 months.
Yep. So
it basically equates out to 1 different girl every week.
Right.
Over 17 months.
And she inarguably the NFL inarguably proved that he set these women up, did not care about their professional background, and set them up to the point where right before the appointment, he would text them, and in each case, he had a pattern in which he would book the appointment for day of immediately, and then a little bit before the appointment, he would text them and he would say something along the lines of, "I need he needs my glutes, my groin, my lower back, and something else focused on. Are you comfortable with that?" And then every single time confirmed that he was bringing his own towel and not to use a sheet. And the towels are not towels; they're Gatorade towels, like literally, actually Gatorade towels.
Right. And I was listening to Pat McAfee today, which they were obviously talking about this. If the NFL decides to, hey, you're suspended for a year.
Yeah.
The NFL, Deshaun Watson's team has said that they are going to take it to court.
Yes.
The issue with that is, if they do that, every bit of information that there it currently is, text messages, emails, all that stuff, then becomes public.
Yeah.
So that will be like, if that's what Deshaun Watson wants, to get all that information out there to prove that he hasn't done it, that in
then this is going to do it.
Yeah, right. So if that's the case and that's what he wants, is to get that all out there, one, I think he would be more vocal about it, but two, the lawyer that he had, the way he was sleazily saying, paying for a happy ending isn't a bad thing, basically.
It's not illegal.
Yeah.
Paying for a hand job is illegal, but getting a hand job after the job is done, after you've done your massage, that's not illegal.
Right.
Which it's not.
It's not.
Unless it's
technically
from your cousin.
But saying that makes your client look way worse.
Right.
So the whole thing is just so incredibly messy.
Yes.
On top of the fact that he was traded to a team and gets $260 million guaranteed. Yeah. Like, that's the absolute worst part about it is no,
the absolute, I know where you're going. The absolute worst part about it is that these women got ejaculated on without their permission. The worst part about the NFL, I just wanted to clarify.
No, I agree. What my point was is that even though all of this stuff is going on, he's still able to be in the NFL. He got paid all last year during his contract, even though he didn't play a single game. He got paid all of last year, and then is allowed to get traded and make a max contract. Like, the NFL should have just said, no, until all of this is done, you cannot do anything else.
This. I'm putting you on the exempt list, and there's nothing.
Yeah, he never once got put on the exempt list. It makes no sense how the NFL was just like, nah, we'll just let this go because it's still an open case and all this bullshit.
For their credit for the first year, I wouldn't have put him on the exempt list either for that first year because he was holding out on his own.
Right.
Now, if he was smart, he would have gone to his job, gotten suspended, and now he'd be off of that suspension and having to get massages by, professionals in a workplace setting.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's fucked up. I hope that the NFL comes back and says, no, we're going to give you a 12-month suspension. We're going to give you an indefinite suspension. You are ineligible to request an appeal until 1 year is up. And I hope that they come back with that or more. And honestly, if they kicked him out of the league forever, I'd be perfectly fine with that.
I mean, we'll find out by Thursday.
Yeah, it's going to happen this week. So next episode, we are going to obviously open up with that and talk about that. We are also doing our Dynasty show next week. So Dynasty show, we're going to do a mock draft, sort of the first round or two of a regular startup draft. And then we're going to do, again, we'll do a full 2-round, 3-round rookie draft.
Correct.
So that way you guys can kind of follow along, check out our advice on that, on the players as we go. It's going to be, and then after that, it's going to be my favorite episode of the show, of our seasons, It's the best practices show. This one's really fun. We talk about all of our strategies, our best draft strategies, our best platforms to use, our fucking favorite, I don't know, tacos. So that's
tacos are always good while drafting.
And it's really fun to figure out exactly which taco is the best, but not like the nice taco cart in town, like Taco Bell versus Jack in the Box. Who's the winner? It depends on the level of drunkenness, right?
Yeah.
If I'm fucking shit-faced...
Time of day.
Time of day. Time of day. Interesting. Okay.
If it's post 10 o'clock, a Jack in the Box taco hits different.
It does.
Post 10 o'clock.
Okay. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they knew that. That's why they were like the first company to be open until midnight every night. And then forever. I think now they're 24 hours. I don't know. Fucking whatever. So August 8th, we're going to be doing the Dynasty show. August 15th, we'll be doing the best practices. Frodo will be back with us next week.
Correct.
In the meantime, he will just remain cunt or whatever.
Yeah. Probably.
Cool. All right. So we will see you guys in a week, and Frodo will see you next week. Peace out, guys.
Later.